Welcome everybody to PAPAPRENEUR Show. This is season number 2, and we're keeping our promise of changing the paradigm of fatherhood one interview at a time. This podcast is produced by Family Filmmaker. So what is up? Welcome everybody once again to another weekly episode of PAPAPRENEUR Show, and we are keeping our promise of changing the paradigm of fatherhood one interview at a time. So if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, and you go after subscribing, you hit the bell icon to receive notifications. That way you don't need to stress about when we're gonna go on air, because you will receive messages in your computer or your smartphone to know that the show is going to be on. On that note, last week we did not have an episode. It's the first time in like half a year that we could not manage to have an episode on air, and the reason is we were extremely busy with a week-long festival that we were producing virtually. So that reminds me that Family Filmmaker is the video production company that makes all of this possible. And we are bringing this content to you weekly because we really believe that we can make a difference by doing the things that we're good at and sharing it with other people, so they also realize that they can change the world one step at a time. So this quick thought for you to reflect upon and to think that the things that you're good at, you can start implementing now. And just because of the ripple effect, everything will be better. So there's going to be live chat today. You can leave the comments in the box, and then we will pop them on the screen. And I think it's going to be quite a show because we have somebody that we have been chatting with offline and over social media for some time now. And I'm so grateful to our guest tonight because he basically helped me open my eyes to the fact that there are other parents out there doing stuff like we were doing. And at some point we were like, yeah, we're doing this on our own. And it's not true. There's a lot of communities out there, Spanish-speaking communities, English-speaking communities, Spanglish-speaking communities that are doing pretty much the same that we're doing. And it's spreading good vibes, speaking about, like, you know, small little problems that we face every day as parents, sometimes single parents, sometimes, you know, marriages, sometimes same gender. It doesn't matter. The thing is that we face problems, and for some reason, because I don't know, we think that we're the only ones in the planet with that problem, sometimes we need to have somebody that tells us, you know, I'm going through the same. And on that regard, years ago, and I'm not going to go ahead of ourselves, but years ago, Soy Super Papa was created with that intention. So I'm going to let Sergio Rosario from Soy Super Papa to tell us all about that in today's show. So today is season 2, episode 9, PAPAPRENEUR Show, and welcome to the show, Sergio. How's it going, bro?
Hello, everyone. I'm super happy to be here. Thank you for having me. Man, this is just such a great introduction. I'm happy to be here. Sometimes I am the one telling the story, so it's different to be on the other side. For those of you who don't know, Soy Super Papa was founded almost 5 years ago, in the response that there wasn't anything serious about fatherhood in Spanish when I knew I was going to become a father. So I model my concept around fatherhood, around positive fatherhood, active fatherhood, active parenting. I wanted my community to be different. How is our community different? Every dad that's in Soy Super Papa is committed. Every dad is giving 110%. We don't allow any talk or judgment about or of mothers, right? So we're allies to those mothers. We don't talk about anything negative. So there might be some cases where we do offer support, but I feel like to be a dad, you don't have to talk about or judge other people, right? So we try to get in touch with the motherhood community and work as one. Why is Soy Super Papa different? I think is because we serve all the Latino community, and we also have people in Europe. Actually, Spain is really big. Shout out to my friend Juan Palomares in España, the first admin for Soy Super Papa. I met him last year. I traveled to Spain and I spent time with him and his family. So Soy Super Papa has become like a big family. I hope when I'm in Canada, I get to meet you and your family. And it's been something that, it's bigger than what I ever thought or what I intended to do. It's just beautiful.
So that means that we are expanding beyond the thoughts that we once had about our own project. So was this a passion project from day one?
I mean, I'm passionate about fatherhood, so of course it's a passion project. I think founding a community is not easy. I think now we see more communities, but when I started Soy Super Papa, communities, online communities, wasn't anything like it is now.
Mm,
So it was hard at the beginning, and also it was hard educating the community. When you have a community where, I say a lot of communities are out there, they're not well moderated, they don't have, like, they don't offer topics. It's hard starting to educate your community, but right now I feel like I built a self-sufficient community. There's days that I don't go in Soy
mm,
Super Papa. The admins, Juan Palomares, Claudio, Lalo Bon, all of those guys, they are self-sufficient people, like, form their own conversations. So I feel proud. I feel like the goal to the community is, at the end, is that the community itself feels comfortable
yeah.
talking and creating content.
Yeah. So we try to create synergy, and the proof that the synergy is working is those days when you feel like, well, if I don't go in and check and moderate, still things keep happening. Am I right?
Exactly, exactly. I think that's the most important thing. Where those days that you're busy, people, other dads have your back. Other dads are putting in topics. Other dads are, creating content, putting videos, putting pictures, telling telling us how their day went. I think it's very important for a community leader sometimes to step back and enjoy, and also take a look at what your community is doing. It's not always about doing, it's always about getting others involved and multiplying the efforts. There's my wife, Limari. Un abrazo, Lin. She's in the other room watching. I wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for her. So thank you. And, you know, I, I think, Ivan, the most important thing about an online community is the intention, the intention of people, and also opening doors.
Yeah.
And if you have people with good hearts and good intentions, there are no limits, and it's all about helping others. So I feel like I fatherhood doesn't have a face. That's my motto. That's the motto, and that's kind of like our main theme of Soy Super Papa. That's why you don't see my face. You see like a face with a beard and,
With a
the
pretty cool
sign.
beard, yeah.
Yeah, I wish I had that beard, man. So I think the intent of Soy Super Papa is pretty much to, I would say, to make things possible and to show other dads that it is possible.
Mm.
It is good. It is normal to be an active father.
Well, and the other thing is that by creating community, whether you have the intention or not, you are helping people walk towards a movement, right? Because the community can be there as long as there are people supporting it, and they will not support it if they don't believe in it. So when you look at from the perspective of a movement, do you think the motto of fatherhood doesn't have a face will still apply, or is there anything else behind that? The thought and the conception of the movement.
Man, I stick with the fatherhood doesn't have a face. And I tell you why. When I started Soy Super Papa, um, I wasn't thinking about I honestly started Soy Super Papa to have a community where I could share and I could learn from. So it turns out that I've learned so much from that in Spain, en España, en Chile, en México, en Honduras, en Venezuela, en Cuba, en República Dominicana. Eh, we have dads from Bulgaria that
Wow.
speak Spanish, and they just, I asked one of those dads, why are you in Soy Super Papa? And you're like, because this is the community I like, and I speak Spanish.
Yeah,
So we strive to kind of like break the stigma of the Latino macho father or el papá macho, like,
hmm,
you know, who it's like, oh, you know, mis hijos los cría la mujer. No, no, no. We're like actually showing people that it is possible. And the macho thing to do is to be an active father. Lo machote, lo ser hombre, lo ser bueno, the good, being macho is taking care of your family and your children and being active. That's
absolutely, absolutely.
that's what we want. Yeah.
I believe one of the things that hooked me up with your community was actually a very simple and very short live video, like probably like, I don't know, 3 months ago or maybe less. And you were just doing dishes, and your phone was just like laying there, like somewhere around your kitchen and looking at you while you're doing the dishes. And it was like you were thinking to yourself, but you were doing it out loud, and people was actually interacting with you. And I said like, hey, wait a sec, who's this guy, right? And then I thought to myself, okay, this guy is talking about things that actually cross my mind very often as a father, because when I have the time to reflect upon my own style of fatherhood, the actual balance between feminine and masculine doesn't even start happening from the outside. It happens from the inside, because I think the masculine energy in me is balanced out with a lot of feminine, and it doesn't have to be with how do you say that, like gender inclination. It's more like the things that you have in your mind that are
Yeah.
supposedly or allegedly corresponding to certain one of the two genres, right?
Yeah, there's no roles. I mean, there are no roles. Like society has said a lot of things for many years. And when you think about it, you know, why do we have to follow a certain model? What works for you? What works for you in your home? What works for you and your
Mm-hmm.
significant other? What works for you and your kids? What works for you and yourself? You know, to be a man is not to do things that we're taught to be manly, to be a man and an active father. Saludos a Edgar Salaman, saludos a Edgar Avani, Alimari. To be a man, and I'm going to say this in Spanish, ser hombre es lo que trabaje para ti y tu familia, lo que
Exacto.
funcione. ¿Y cómo nos sentimos más o menos hombres? Mira, simplemente es la cantidad de trabajo que tú le metas. It's the amount of work that you put in. That's it. That's
Absolutely.
what actually that's the what measures how good of a human being you are, not a man, not a woman. You know, it's just no roles. In my house, I was the only boy. I have two sisters, my mom, my grandma, and I learned how to cook. I learned how to do the dishes. I actually came back right now from my wife's event, and I won the second place in a chili cook-off. I didn't even know it was a cook-off.
Hey,
I
right
cook,
on.
I cook, yeah, I cooked the chili, and everybody loved it. Like, you know, I can cook. I'm a good cook, and my family enjoys that. And when you do all those things, there's more time for family.
Yes, absolutely. And that was one of the topics that you were touching upon on that live video that I was mentioning not so long ago. And it was,
Hmm.
if you are doing not only your part but a little bit more, and maybe just bouncing ideas back and forth with your significant other, say in our cases, in our case, our wives, right, our
Yeah,
respective wives, then you will free up time and give yourself space and give your spouse space to something else, right?
yeah,
So I, from that point on, I start following you, and I started seeing that community to under the light of a place that you can go to see what's going on in other places of the planet. And I was super happy that everything was in Spanish because, of course, my mother tongue is Spanish. So I feel really comfortable there. So I was like stoked when I found you guys and I start following you. And that's one of the reasons I'm so happy to have you over today in season 2. So just for you guys to have a little bit of a quick idea of what's going on here, we are just receiving messages from all over the world. So when you write on the chat box, please mention from where you're sending your messages, because I see Edgar Salaman, I see Avani Parek, I see Ling Marie,
Yes.
Sergio's wife. So yes, and the other thing that we need to remind you is that we're gonna go in a few more minutes to the midsection of the show, which is called the rapid fire questions. And I don't think I
Ooh.
mentioned this to you,
No,
but
we're ready. We're ready.
yeah, we're gonna launch it in like 4 more minutes. So before we go there, um, tell me a little bit about the um, interactions that you find in the community when people bring topics that are uncomfortable. So how do you guys manage things that are
Ooh.
tough? Because that's one of the things that I want to learn for my own sake. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't created a
Yeah.
big community yet. I just started, but I think I'm going to benefit a lot from learning from this community that is 5 years old and it's just kicking butt.
Yeah, man. I mean, thank you. We are a community that is big on feelings. We talk about feelings. We respect each other's feelings. Um, we are big. I mean, we have a zero tolerance policy for comments or or bad responses. Or I mean, we are there's no space for that here. We don't want anybody who's not on the same page. There's tons of communities out there for that. So I mean, it's for people who are in sync. And I sometimes people ask me like, could you have more people on your social media? Yes, of course, but I chose to have the quality instead of quantity. We're big on feelings, and I feel like that's the way people learn your what's in your heart, your true intentions.
Mhm.
And I feel like fathers have opened up. It's been 5 years, man. It hasn't been like that since the beginning. But since we lead by example, people see how big we are on feelings, and they are not afraid to show their feelings. So I think that's the first thing in the community. The other thing is to let everybody have a piece of the cake, and by that I mean people who have other programs, people who have other communities. Like my community is open to anybody who wants to 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 offer something, right? Sometimes we say, well, this person is doing something similar. Yes, it's better because then fatherhood, the cost for fatherhood would be more advanced. So I am open to collaborations. I am open for people to post. I am open to people to moderate. Like if you want to take a couple of minutes a day and moderate, yes, go ahead, because I feel like it's very important what each father has to bring and what we learn. Like the dads from Puerto Rico don't raise their kids the same as dads from Chile.
Mhm.
The dads from Chile don't say raise their kid the same from the dads from Mexico. So we are all learning different styles of parenting, and this is amazing because I feel like we become more complete overall fathers.
Yeah.
We have. I mean, can you imagine having examples or teachers or models from all over Latin America, and you get the best tips from dads from Dominican Republic, from Venezuela, from Ecuador, from
but
Argentina.
but now that takes the willingness to be open, because
Yeah.
one thing that I found when I started with this project, I found that we as men are typically not willing to be open. And then it's just like, how can you let friendship or brotherhood in if you're not able to open up a little? And maybe some people can consider that soften up, and I don't mind softening it up. Like I was just watching like America Got Talent, like very old episodes on the finals where the kids are like exploding the stage, and I shed a couple of tears. And you know why? I don't mind, because it was like a happy joy tears. And I don't know, maybe there are other fathers out there doing it, but here in Calgary locally, I still have a lot of people to meet. Other way to say that I don't see that very often, right? So
Man,
the Latin American way of thinking and way of feeling and way of
yeah.
rising makes a lot of difference. Would you agree?
It does. It does. I mean, it's you have to be in tune. You have to be have this mindset. You have to be ready to learn. You know how like our parents or all of our lives they tell us these things like you're gonna fall, you're gonna hit yourself, you're gonna do, and this still we fall and we hit ourselves. But if we're not ready to learn from that first fall, we're gonna keep hitting ourselves
Yeah.
and falling in the same place. So I feel like fatherhood is the same thing. Are you ready? Are you ready to? I would say, are you ready to take the reins and you take charge of your role as a father? Are you ready to be there for your kids? Without asking anybody's permission, are you ready to assume your role?
Yeah.
And I feel like once you go through that inner process with yourself, that's when you actually start looking for community, start looking for podcasts, for shows like this one, start looking for experts, like advice, reading books, watching documentaries about parenting, because you
Yeah.
want to improve yourself. And time is so precious and it goes by so fast that you might start reading, you might start looking for information to raise your 2-year old. And by the time you're getting it, they're already 3, they're already 4. It flies, time flies. So it's
Now,
precious. And yeah.
yeah, it's something that we cannot afford to be sedentary or static with. We need to keep in
Yeah.
motion, like most things in life. So on that regard, is there any book or resource or podcast or any kind of resource that you are currently reading or enjoying, or subscribed to, that you would like to share with other fathers,
Oh
regardless whether it's
man.
Spanish or English?
Man, you guys can check out my podcast. Soy Super Papa el podcast. I feel like I have some great guests there in balance. Next year we'll start with season 3. Um, you can check out Rocking Dads, the book, from Brian, the birth guy, my friend Brian Salmon. He's a great doula and parenting expert. And man, Brian is amazing. I
So the
feel
name
like
is Rocking Dad. Rocking what?
rocking dads, yeah, rocking dads. If you're a father that's expecting, or you're thinking about having more kids, rocking dads is the way to go. It's, oh my god, it's amazing. I actually got to meet Brian and I stay at his home in San Antonio, and we clicked immediately. I'm translating his book that's on Amazon, Rocking Dads, into Spanish. So he gave
Right
me
on.
that task. Yeah. And I mean, and you build different relationships. I think other fatherhood, man, there's so many, like Flor, that style. I follow him. He's doing some video clips, super nice. I used to follow Papi Preschool, who is not doing videos or interviews anymore because he had to move. Like, we all have different situations, so we come and go.
No, I was gonna
But I
say
feel,
you have kind of a little bit of a pause on your podcasting schedule, right?
yeah, yeah, it's paused because for us, the holidays for fathers, we take our holidays serious. So I don't want to take anybody's family time. But
Yeah,
then once January is gone, then we start again and we start doing the amazing interviews. I might throw maybe one episode over there in the holidays, a special guest that I have, that I recorded, and I don't know if it's gonna be my first guest for season 3 or gonna be my last guest for season 2.
I
But
see.
definitely, and when I pause on something, when I pause the podcast, is because I'm doing something else.
Yeah.
Like I'm involved in another project as a father. It's always good to be involved in multiple things because it helps you grow the perspective.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, well, with that in mind, I think it's wise for us to jump into the next section. And I'm going to just switch cameras for a second because I'm going to do a trick afterwards. So, yes, this is just the beginning of the favorite section of the show for many of our followers. And this is rapid fire question here at PAPAPRENEUR Show, Season 2, Episode 9. And today we have Sergio Rosario from Soy Super Papa. So, without further ado, are you ready, Sergio?
I am ready, man. I am ready. Let's do
All
this.
right, let's do this. So, starting easy, what are you obsessed about?
Obsessed about, I am obsessed about, man, right now is cigars. I love the time that I get to smoke a cigar because it's like my time. It's me time and nobody takes it away from me. So it's important to take care of yourself. And I am obsessed about that. I have a huge community. I have a podcast about that. And it's a huge community. It's Cigars Podcast. I love my people. There are a lot of cool dads who are watching us right now from the Cigars Podcast,
Right on.
and we talk about parenting while smoking a cigar. So I love
So
that.
it's kind of
That's
a
what's
meditation space for your
yeah.
own time.
That's what I'm obsessed about right at the moment.
Right on. So you were not kidding. You were no kidding when you said that when you're pausing something is because you're working on something else. So next question for you, Sergio. What's your happy place?
My happy place, man. My happy place is any place that I can have time with my family, my wife, and my daughter. We're a military family, so we move a lot. So home is where we feel good, where we feel comfortable, where we feel in peace. Usually, someplace in nature, whether it's the mountain or the beach. That's our happy place. But I would say our happy place is where we get to feel good as a family.
Right on. All right. So next question for you. You already touched briefly on it, but are you married? Do you have kids? What are their names and all of that?
Yeah, I am married to my wife, Lynn Marie. It's almost 5 years now. We have a 3-year-old about to turn four, Stella, and I love them both. I think we're gonna stay with one kid. It's hard to raise multiple kids nowadays. My my hat goes off to all those parents who have multiple kids. You are doing a great job. Keep doing it. You guys are amazing. I salute you for that.
Awesome. Thank you, Sergio. Next question for Soy Super Papa here at Papapreneur Show is what's the, how do you say that? ¿Qué es lo más lejos que has estado de casa y por qué? So, what's the further away that you've been
Ooh.
home and why?
Oh man, I don't travel much because I've been a stay at home father for the past 2 years and a half. So, but I think the furthest was last year in California. I was away. I was working with Facebook on Facebook Community Summit, and then I did Hispanic Heritage Month as a speaker in Facebook. I was doing commercial there, doing different projects, and California. And the worst thing about being that far away is that when you come back, you're coming back to the different time zone, so it's late here,
That's right.
and then when you wake up next day, you're so tired, but your kids are so full of energy.
And you just have
It's
to
it
keep rolling with the punches.
it takes you a couple of days to get back to normal.
Yeah, so 3 years old is a busy age for the
It
kids
is.
and for us parents. So yes, that was one of the other things that I've been hearing consistently on your podcast is just checking with your friends, like with your father friends, how are things going? You know how there are like campaigns rolling on Facebook about um, uh, awareness on depression and whatnot. So those messages, of course, they are really serious, and I really respect those. But on a side note, if you know parents that are close to you, sometimes just pick up the phone and see how are they doing. At first
Yes.
they're gonna go like, why are you calling me? But that will click and that will ignite another level of your friendship with that person. Because if we feel heard, then we feel at ease. It really doesn't matter if we have big problems as long as we have somebody to speak with. But I'm going into a tangent here because we're supposed to be on rapid fire questions for Sergio. So we're gonna shift gears very quickly here. And when you are dining in with Lynn Marie and you guys are sitting at the table, the question for you is, do you guys sit in front of each other? Do you sit besides her, and why?
When I'm with her by myself, I like to see her in front of each other. When Stella is around, then I sit in the Lemar is to my right and Stella's to my left. So I'm in, like, in the corner. I always like the end of the I don't know.
Yeah.
I always say when I have my family, I want to sit in the end of the table. I don't know.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, normally we have that kind of response. It's a funny one because it makes you think on how dynamics change constantly in our young families. So,
Yes.
speaking about dynamics, this is an ancient and very debatable paradox, and it's the toilet paper paradox. For you, Sergio, the toilet paper on the wall, is it over or under?
Over, man, over. Especially when you have little kids, man. You want the toilet paper to flow easy because then, like, Dad, I need help. Like, you want to make it easy for them.
Yes, absolutely. So yes, those are the funny questions on our rapid fire question for Sergio arroba soy super papa tonight at Papapreneur, and we're gonna go now to a more to an area of thoughtfulness and maybe reflection, because uh, by by doing the things that you normally do as a father, is there anything that you feel you're missing out, on other stuff?
No, man. I think a lot of people ask me, like, man, you do a bunch of things. And to be honest, I think fatherhood has opened the doors for me to explore more things, become part of more communities, get to know myself better. What are my limits? What are my boundaries? What are my, I don't know, what's my potential.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly think one should never blame fatherhood or motherhood or parenting for the lack of interest to do something new. If you don't want to do something new, it's because you as a person chose not to. Fatherhood is not un impedimento. It's not a barrier. It's not a wall that's preventing you from going to whatever goal you have. I think it's like, there's when you're a father or mother, there's more reasons for you to make time for yourself. There's more reasons to go and pursue a career, more reasons for you to practice a sport. It's all those things that you never did. You get to do them for yourself, and then you get to teach them to your kids. So if you don't do them for yourself, how are you going to be able to tell your kids, do this? Like, you have to lead by example. So I feel like if you're a father or mother that wants to do something, go ahead and do it, no matter how hard it looks at the beginning. The beginning is only the hard part. Then once you get going, you'll get used to it, and it'll become your new normal.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think I agree with you on the sense that sometimes we just put mental barriers and we get on our in our own way. Like we get in the middle and we need to
Yeah.
remove those beliefs in order to make things work. So last question for rapid fire question for you, Sergio, tonight at Papapreneur Show. How do you want to be remembered when you're no longer here?
Ooh, man, that's my thing. I always say is legacy, what you leave behind. My legacy is, I want my daughter to be able to remember me, or people to remember me, as a man that wasn't I didn't stay put. I did the most that I could with my time. When my daughter can talk about me and say my dad used to lead a community. My dad used to play softball. My dad used to go bowling. My dad used to fix things. My dad used to, like, have a podcast about cigars. My dad used to travel and do like different campaigns and commercials. Like, I want my daughter to be able to see like it's possible for you to do all those crazy things. Like that, life is not about one career. It's not about one thing. It's about going out there and taking the bull by its horns and dominating the experience. Like you're always in control as a human. And I want my people or my family to remember me as a man that tried different things. Like, I know things because I have tried them. I have been there and done that. I always say, you seen that movie Slumdog Millionaire?
Yeah.
So I always say there's people who know things because they Google things, or there's people who know things, but I want to be the person who knows those different things and wins the $1 million prize because I live all of those things like it happened in the movie. And it can sound crazy. It can sound very crazy. Sometimes people don't believe it, but I've done a lot of things, when people ask me like, whoa, what do you do for a living? I tell them, well, depending on what time of my life you're asking,
Yeah.
I'm a professional musician. Now I am a social media and marketing manager, but a couple of years ago I was a social worker. So what do you want? Like, it depends on my situation. I always
Yes.
adapt. So I want people to be able to know that I was a man that I explored different things in life through my lifetime.
So reinventing ourselves. That's a big one.
That That's the key, man. Like right now with technology, with coronavirus, with the pandemic, with jobs, if you don't know how to reinvent yourself, you can fall to depression. You can fall to, what people are gonna think about me. How am I gonna make money? You always have to be a step ahead, having personal goals, family goals, personal projects, family projects. Like you have to always be a step ahead in order to, I would say, dominate life. You can't let life take care of you. You have to take care of things in life. So right now, reinventing is something that for all those dads that are watching and moms, if you have an idea, try it. You won't lose
Mm.
anything with trying.
Yes, I agree in many aspects on all the things that you're saying. However, I was just watching a short video of a guy, like a local guy here. I'm from Calgary, and Edmonton is a nearby city here in Alberta. And this guy, I believe he's from Edmonton. I wish I remember his last name, but I don't know. He goes by Mike something, and his motto is "Man Up." And then when you go and check his website and his social media, the "Man
Uh-huh.
Up" is strangely related to slowing down. And this is particularly interesting because when I hear you, I can kind of hear myself on, if this didn't work, I'm going to try another thing, and then when I'm satisfied with this, I will move to the next one. And for me, there is like value, or there is like a, even like, I don't know, quote unquote admiration in, I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop. That's like a value that it's kind
Mhm.
of built in me, probably by my parents, right? So when I hear what this guy Mike from Edmonton says about slowing down, I think, well, he's also right, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to stop. So how do you
Yeah.
find balance? And I believe this is like a very important question for people like you and me, that we consider the value of keep going and hustling and whatnot. How do you consider a balanced life between the doing and the being?
Man, they say it takes around 5,000 hours to become good at something and 10,000 hours to become an expert on something. So how do you stop before you reach those 10,000 hours, right? Like, I think it's something very personal. do you stop when you have something good? Do you, or when you're content? Sometimes it's good to stop and enjoy and look around you and see what you got, what blessings you have around you, what you've been blessed with. I feel like there's a difference between, you know, being content and then being hungry for something, right?
Yeah.
It's good, it's okay to be content for some people. It's not okay for other people. So I feel like it's about setting a pace. Like they say, like the elephant, it's a big animal, it's slow, but it has a firm pace and it takes anything that's across its path.
Yeah.
So we want to be like that, and we want to mimic like the elephant. We want to be in family. We want to wait for those who are slower behind us. you know I think it's good to have your own pace. And how do I stop and enjoy? Well, I think it's important to work hard, but also to have family time and vacation time and relaxation time and time to disconnect. So I take some time off with my wife. I was recently 3 weeks ago in Yellowstone National Park for 8 days with my wife, just me and her, and nature. No cell phone, no cell phone service. No Instagram, no Facebook.
And
The
also,
first,
not so long ago, you were also with your kid, with Stella, and you guys were like for a to a pumpkin patch or something, like a trip to
yeah,
the fields or something like that, right?
man, this was like, I always say, it was a pumpkin patch, but it was so big. It was like a Disneyland thing with just like, I always say it was like redneck Disney. They
That's
had like
funny.
tractors, they had like pirate ships, they had animals. It was so big. We spent 4 hours in there and we
So it
didn't do all the events.
So it's just this balance, right? So one good day you take some short vacation with your wife. Some other
Hmm.
day you just focus completely on work and producing content for social media. Some other day you go with your kid to another place like a mini vacation, and some other
Yeah,
time you will basically disconnect to reconnect. I believe I need to get a little bit of that.
exactly.
Like I need to uh, mimic that because I haven't
And
been
then
doing that.
Ivan, one of the things that I want to say is things can wait. Like if you have a community, if you have like, things can wait. We don't have to answer the comments right away. We don't have to, because people, you're one, and then your community is thousands of people. So they comment on their time off. Maybe they're sitting down in the toilet and they leave a comment or a picture, but you're not, you're working, you're with your kids, so you don't have, you can't, sometimes it's something we can't control, and things can wait. Family cannot wait.
Yeah.
And for me, that is something that, like you say, maybe you need to take some time off. Well, sometimes people think taking time off is taking a vacation to Disney World. No, you don't. Taking a time off, taking your family to a park, to a museum, to the mountains, to the river, that is something that is not, it doesn't cost anything. So it's the experience that you give yourself and your family, and it's
Absolutely.
good to reconnect. Work life balance is the key. If you work 2 hours, make sure those 2 hours you're working, one is to provide for your family, and the other one is to provide an experience for your family.
Interesting. Interesting. I like that way of thinking. So now that we have all of that scenario in front of us on how you live your life and your approach to the uh, uh, eternal debate on balance between life and work, let's look at the future for a second because we're approaching just the end of our show. Tonight's
Oh,
episode, yeah, tonight's episode has been a very packed one with, things to consider, things to reflect upon, and whatnot. So let's look at the future because normally what happens is at at our video production company, what we do is we like to um, walk with our customers and our friends and our clients on those topics that have no answer yet, to see if we can brainstorm for a little bit, right? So you have a very well established community and you have your dynamics, and there are sometimes things that you don't know how to solve. So what's in the near horizon for you in terms of Soy Super Papa, the community, or maybe the thing that we were chatting about the other day, that you're starting to make some videos with your camera or your phone, all of those things. Maybe we can just brainstorm for 5 minutes before we jump into the end of the show.
Yeah, of course, man. I'm a guy that I like to know how to do things right, and when I think about the future, I like to be able to say I want to do something and have the tools. So if I am not doing it, I'm preparing for it, right? And I like to do things in a nice way. At the beginning of Soy Super Papa, I used to do some clips, and I stopped doing them. And now I'm getting ready to do them again. So we're going to talk about work life. We're going to talk about parenting. We're going to talk about respect for mothers. We're going to talk about relationships. We're going to talk a little bit about everything. And they're going to form like kind of like a conversation point for people to talk and be open and see that it's okay to talk about things, and we're definitely going to talk about men's health, mental health, about pride, about feelings, all of those things, man. And you're probably gonna see me doing more dishes because it's a concept that I'm gonna be doing. So probably gonna talk to me while you're gonna see me doing the dishes and having the video while I'm doing the dishes. It's something that a lot of people had commented they like.
Yeah,
And man, I'm gonna tell you this, when the quarantine started, I started doing all kinds of lives, doing domestic chores, right?
yeah.
Like one day I was cooking, the other day I was mopping, I was doing dishes. Then one day I needed to do the yard, and I have like a Facebook portal. Let me show it to you really quick, which has a camera that follows you, right? It
Okay.
has a camera that follows you, and I posted on my backyard, and I was just like doing like the trimmer, like right, and people were watching. I'm like, what the heck is this? I'm just a man, doing the yard, and I had like 16 people watching and commenting, and I was like, what the heck? It's just crazy. But it seems like, I don't know, we need to normalize these things. So I'm doing that concept, and I feel like I'm also, I would like to do more collaborations in
Yeah.
2021. I would like to be able to talk with more dads, but also to talk to more mothers. I feel like we don't have enough dad and mom like encounters and talk about feelings and talk about how moms can give us a different perspective. And I'm really working on that. I started working on that this year, and I did a couple of things, but I feel like we need more. We need more collaborations with
So
moms.
now I have two questions for you. Number one is, you said that when you started, like 5 years ago, you were creating some clips and you stopped. So I'm curious about why. That's question number one. And question number two, in regards to the end of your comment, are you thinking about a virtual summit? Are you thinking like a virtual gathering of sorts?
Man, the first one I stopped because the community grew so fast, and I didn't have the resources. I didn't know how to make a video. Now it's easy. I record it, I edit it in 10-20 minutes. It's ready. But before I didn't know, man, and I wish I knew, and I prepared myself better, and I had the tools. And then number two, uh, what I'm thinking is doing more collaborations with people, influencers, or mommy bloggers who already have their community.
Yeah.
Number one, because I want them. I participated with one of the moms like a couple of months ago, and all the moms were like in love with me. Oh my god, I wish my husband did this, and I'm like, wait. Like I'm not, I'm not something out of this world. I'm just somebody who does things a little bit different. So I want mothers to be able to see what is possible, like, what is possible for those men, and I want to be able to reach those dads. So I'm working now with a project called Separe in Puerto Rico. It's about birth. I'm getting very involved with them. It's amazing what they're doing, and I think, maybe through them, I think we can get those two communities together. But I would say my priority this 2021 is to unite more motherhood communities and more fatherhood communities.
Right on. That sounds like a great project to tackle. So I was thinking while I was hearing you, and I think I have it here. Give me 1 second. If you're gonna keep going live, doing dishes and whatnot, uh, uh, this where's my camera here? This kind of device, this is just a little tripod, but it has a very peculiar feature, which is when you put it on top of a table or a desk or something, it's it's high enough it's high enough so it's going to align with your eye line, with your sight line. And why am I telling you this? Because if you are using the back of the sink, like behind the faucet, and you put it there, the angle is going to be perfect. So that's one of the little things. And of course these things are expandable, so you can put anything, like any device
Nice.
here, right? So this is just probably like what, 12 inches, uh
Yeah.
12 inches, how do you say that, tall or high. And it's not it's not even expensive, like it's like 15-20 dollars or so. And that's one of the things that we do normally. What we do is that we check the resources that people
Exactly.
has, and then we just adapt them. Like, and if you're going outside and you're on like trimming the garden and whatnot, these things are flexible, so you can actually,
Ooh,
yeah,
nice.
you can actually like put it to the fence or on a branch or on a tree, and
Nice.
you'll have some crazy angles there, like if you have like a camera person there. And if your software follows you, even better. So
You need to give me the link to that, man. It
absolutely,
is.
yeah.
See, and this is what I like about the fatherhood community. Sometimes some people ask me like, what microphone do you use? It sounds so good. What and I like to share things. I feel like that's, sometimes people think it's a secret. Like, I don't want to share my why.
No,
I
on
mean,
the
it's
contrary,
good.
yeah.
It's on the contrary, it's good to see other people grow, and I love that. And one of the things I want us to do is I want to invite you to my Soy Super Papa third season. I think we're gonna be able to, I want man, I want to know your story. Like, you're always asking questions, but I want people to know your story. And I love that. I love giving it a little twist, of storytellers telling their own story, and giving a different perspective. So
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. So, in the meantime, it's almost 9. I thought we were going to aim to 45 minutes, but this happens when we engage in this conversation. And so, we're going to try to keep it within the hour. You can leave in the comments if you have further questions for Sergio. Otherwise, you can go and follow him on Instagram and other social networks. You're going to find him all the time by arroba soy superpapa. So, soy superpapa. That's easy to understand, either English or Spanish. And I
yeah.
need to remind you something. Everybody here listening to the show and listening to the podcast, um, if you do not speak English, and I'm going to switch to Spanish because it's easier this way. Si ustedes quieren tener subtítulos en el otro idioma, por ejemplo, ahorita estoy hablando español y quieren tener subtítulos en inglés, or the other way around. If you want to have subtitles in Spanish for a content that is originally in English, there is always the chance to do it. So if you want to know how to do it, I can send you a link. We just shot a quick tutorial the other day, and it has helped many people because subtitling is really important to broaden broad broaden. How do you say that?
Yeah,
Eh,
broaden, yeah,
yeah,
para crecer.
para crecer el alcance y alcanzar a más audiencia. Era lo que quería decir, se me enredó un
Yeah.
poquito la lengua. Así que bueno, yeah, there's a tutorial on that. I can post it on the links. And then, Sergio, yes, absolutely. Please count me in, sign me up for that
Man,
season
I need
three.
to learn. I need to learn all those subtitles, man. Like, see, this is things we can teach and we can learn from each other. So I definitely need to learn that from you.
Yeah, so it's basically using taking advantage of intelligent artificial intelligence, and there are some ways that are easier. Some places it's easier to do so. Oh my goodness, it's easier in some platforms than others. So right now, what I discover is that if you're using a computer and you are on YouTube, it's like really easy, like 2 clicks and it's working.
Wow.
There are longer workarounds and way arounds in other platforms, and especially smartphones and mobile devices. It's a little bit hard, but you know what? Technology moves like this fast, so probably the solution that I found last month, it's gonna be available for smartphones like really, really soon, right?
Nice.
So yes, that's the type of things that we like to share with you. As Sergio was mentioning, we love seeing people thrive and we love seeing people having success, because at the end, if we all move forward, the success is going to be a collective one. So thank you, Sergio, for being with us today. Is there any final message that you would like to share with the audience today at Papapreneur Show? Some event that you have in the near future, some invitation. The floor is yours. Oh, what just happened? I just lost you for a bit. Come again? Dun dun dun.
Uno, dos, uno, dos,
There you
uno.
are. There you are.
Okay, we're ready. I unplugged my mic and this is working. So see, I'm ready for anything. So one of the things I wanted to tell the audience, it was, with Christmas, Thanksgiving coming, holidays are coming. If you're an adult and you haven't talked to your dad, or you haven't told your dad you love them, or you don't have a good relationship, there's always a good time, a good day to build the relationship with your dad. To all those dads, there's always time to build your relationship with their children. So I think it's time for you guys to think about how the relationship with your father has been, how the relationship with your children has been. It's never too late to give the extra mile and to, how can I say, to, do that effort that can go a long, long way. So, my advice is with these holidays, make peace with yourself, love your family, love your significant other, love your neighbors, your peers, your coworkers, and then go back and evaluate those relationships and love your father. No matter if your father has been a person that doesn't express himself that much, doesn't matter if your dad didn't tell you I love you when you're a kid. I think it's never late. You don't want it to be too late. So my suggestion would be love your father, go get to them, ask them how they are, ask them if they need anything, how they are doing. Myself, I am working on that, and it's not easy. I have a father who was a police officer for more than 30 years, so already his profession, it's something that's like it's a certain character. And then when he became a grandfather, I started seeing how different he used to, like, he was getting, right? And then the other day he called me, he's like, can you do me a favor, I need to call a company, and at the beginning I was like, man, like, do I really want to take my time and call like a customer service line? And but then I was like, this is what he needs me for. Like, if I can help them, and he
Yes.
can say, hey, my son helped me,
Wow,
That's
that's
something
lovely.
he can
Yes.
have. So I took my time, and it took 3 days to call of calling, to get the problem solved. It was, at least an hour every day
Oh,
on a
I'm pretty
customer.
sure. I'm pretty sure it meant the world for him.
It was annoying for me, and it was like at the beginning it was I don't want to do this, but then I saw how it helped him, and how good he felt when he finally got that solved, and it was thanks to me. So sometimes we want to aim for the stars,
Hmm.
but it's the little things that matter. So little things are the ones that matter, and just set yourself on these holidays to do something small but meaningful.
Absolutely. So I like the way you are putting it in terms of it's not shooting for the stars necessarily, just the small actions. And
Yeah,
the other thing is be close to people that is close to you. And it should go
yeah.
without saying, but it's unbelievably not it's not common. So thank you for sharing that with us and being open, saying that you're working on that relationship. I love it. I feel I like you even more than I already liked you when we first met and we started chatting, and I was all on social media. Now I know a little bit more about your story. I feel
Yeah.
appreciation for what you do, and I'm thankful for your work on all of these years with Soy Super Papa and all the community. And I really look forward to see you in other encounters. So you invited me to the that 2.0 summit. From that point on, we just met here. Now we have a promise to be in season 3 of Soy Super Papa the podcast. So I think we're building and we're building up and we're up to good stuff. So
My wife wants to go to Canada, so we probably have a trip. Actually, we would have gone to Canada if we ended up in Yellowstone, but the plan was to go to Canada. So
right on. Yeah.
any day now, when they let us go to Canada, uh, I think we're gonna be visiting. So we'll probably meet each
Terrific.
other and spend some time. And I'm just thankful. Thank you, and thank your community. And I'm really grateful for what you're doing. My community is open to you. So anything that you want to do there, you're welcome to. And all those dads and moms who are listening, if you have something, if you have a project, and you have somebody with initiative, hey, welcome them to your community. Your community is going to be more valuable when you are inclusive.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So, well, with that will take us to the end of tonight's episode. Thanks a lot, Sergio, for being with us tonight. Let's just wrap this up, and I will remind you that you can tune in next week for episode 10 of our second season here at PAPAPRENEUR Show. Next week guest is Dallas Ritz with oh my goodness, DSR Developments. He's local here from Calgary, a dad, a husband, a business owner, and we're so looking forward to have him over in the show because we're going to be sharing again those little things that make the paradigm of fatherhood to change. So again, my name is Ivan Perdomo, Ivan for those of you English speakers, and I invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find us if you use our hashtag PAPAPRENEUR Show, and you can also um, look for our other social media handles because our video production company goes by Family Filmmaker. So Family Filmmaker is our video production company making your productions possible both in English and Spanish, not only here locally in Calgary, Alberta, but worldwide because we are also working on production of live events and virtual events. So anything that you would like to consult about that, we can get the conversation started. The email is on the screen. It's podcast at familyfilmmaker.ca. And I wish you all a good evening, and I'll see you guys next week, next Thursday at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. Papapreneur Show by Family Filmmaker. So, see you guys. Bye.
Family Filmmaker.